minutes after 10, and we have Mrs. Chick, Ms. Zakowski, Mr. Pacheco, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Savornich. We have 5 members present, 6 members, 5 members present. No, 6 members present. We need 4 for a quorum. Goldberg, Mrs. Walders, Ms. Galanter, we have 8 members present. We need 2 for a quorum. Mr. Holden, 2 minutes to adjournment time. Walters here? Okay, she's in the back, so call the roll.
Bertson, Fiore, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Mizakowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley Thomas, Vornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the council will please come to order. This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 28th day of July 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mrs. Chick moves, Mr. Fuhr seconds. There's no objection, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
There's no objection, unanimous vote.
On the regular agenda, items number 4 and 5, a request to continue those items till August 4th.
Is there any objection to continuing 4 and 5 until August 4th? Seeing none, that will be the order. Next item.
Item number 6 on the regular agenda is Commissioner reappointment of Ms. Lisa Speck to the Board of Rec and Parks Commission.
Mrs. Speck, would you come forward and sit at the center table so we can look at you? This is a reappointment. We have a recommendation from the committee. All right, any discussion?
Yes.
If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Thank you.
Miss-
You mean it's a unanimous vote?
Yeah. You know, the ones that didn't want to vote for you are not here. Thank you. Did you get the Coliseum, did you get the National Football League here yet? Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah. Forthwith on that item. Next item.
Item number 7 is reappointment of Commissioner Theodore Stein to the Board of Harbor Commissioners.
Okay. Ted Stein, would you come forward? Any, the committee met yesterday and unanimously approved. Well, there's Mrs. Galanter, so speak up. Okay. All right, any discussion? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 1 no.
You didn't get the unanimous vote that Lisa got.
I'm not
but
as good
so-
looking as
but-
Lisa, so
But so what? Forthwith on that.
thank you.
Thank you for serving the city.
Thank
Next
you.
item.
Item number 8 is reappointment of Suzanne Sampson to the Board of Transportation Commissioners.
Any discussion on, this is a committee report. Any discussion? Mrs. Sampson? Mr. Savornich moves. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Mrs. Sampson, you've been approved.
Thank
and
you.
A unanimous vote. Mr. Stein didn't get, but thank you for serving the city, and we'll send it forthwith. Next item.
Item number 9 is the appointment of Gary Park to the Board of Taxi Cab Commissioners.
This is a new appointment. Any discussion on this one? Mr. Savornich moves. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Mr. Park, you've been approved. Thank you
Thank you
for
very much.
offering to serve the city, and you will send that forthwith.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item is item number 31, the reappointment of Thomas J. Gilmore to the LA Homeless Authority.
Mr. Gilmore, is he here? Yes, there he is. Is this a reappointment? Any discussion on this this is a reappointment? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Mr. Gilmore, you've been reconfirmed by the council, and thank you for serving the city.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next item.
Item number 39, a request by Councilmember Holden to withdraw from the agenda and refer to the IGR committee.
Is there any objections to that, referring 39 to the committee? And if not, that's unanimous vote. Shall we have the public hearing now? All right, is there anybody in the audience wants to be heard on public comment? We have no cards. No, he doesn't come in on Wednesday. If not, the public comment period is closed. Sergeant, public comment period is closed. Next item.
Items 1 through 3 on the regular agenda are items noticed for public hearing.
We have no cards on those, 1, 2, 3. Anybody want to be heard on 1, 2, or 3? If not, the hearing is closed. We 1 and 2 on ordinances, so we'll hold those on the desk. Mr. Burnson is expected in, and if not, then we'll 3. Any discussion on that? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Items number 10 through 30 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held.
All right, first of all, we'll call 10, 11, 12, because they're ordinances. We'll call them special in case we get a 12th member. 13 through 30. What specials?
30, on 30, we're going to ask that it be continued for another 2 weeks.
Is item 30, Ms. Glanter moves that it be continued 2 weeks. Is there any objections to that? Seeing none, that will be the order.
19 and 35.
19 and 30, 19 called special by Mrs. Chick. Mr. Holden, you called what number? 12. Well, we're holding that anyway. Okay, so we have 13 through 29 with the exception of 19. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Items number 32 through 39 are items for which public hearings have not been held.
39 we've already taken care of, I believe. And we referred. So 32 through 38. Anybody want to be heard on any of those items?
35 is called special by Councilmember Chick.
Is Mrs. Chick helpless? She can't speak up? Yeah, well, the public hearing is closed and you call 35 special?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other specials? 32 through 38 with the exception of 35. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Item number 19 called special by Councilmember Chick.
Mrs. Chick, you call 19 special?
Colleagues and Mr. President, I rise to simply point out to us the success of a very modest program, modest in terms of both staffing and public dollars that have been put to it, and that is the Code Watch program. Mr. Burnson had introduced a motion that went to Plum Committee, taking a look at ways that the city can work to improve our neighborhoods through voluntary compliance with our building codes. Code Watch is one of those programs that's now been in place for several years, and if you remember, started as a pilot program in about 5 council districts and then went citywide. It is run by Karen Wagner and her able assistants out of the mayor's volunteer office. And the one statistic that I wanted to point out, in using our residents and volunteers in our communities, the city has saved over $100,000 in the first year and a half of the program because rather than using building and safety inspector time, it's been our volunteers who have been going out in the communities and sending letters to property owners who in many cases don't know that they are violating city codes, many of which contribute to neighborhood blight. $100,000 of savings, and among the closed cases, a voluntary code compliance of almost 80%. What's happening is when property owners receive the letters telling them that they are breaking our codes and out of compliance, we are finding that they want to be good neighbors, and that after receiving the letter, they're correcting the problem, cutting their weeds, stopping parking cars on the lawns, removing graffiti, and a variety of other things. So I'm pleased Mr. Burnson is looking for other ways. I just want to make sure that we know of the great success of this program that relies on volunteers in all of our districts. Thank you.
Okay, we have 19 before us. Mrs. Chick makes the motion, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 35, called special by Councilmember Chick.
She's just a little busy thing today.
First, you're upset I'm not talking, and
You-
then you're
you-
upset that I am
you-
talking.
You sound like Nate Holden. She's only allowed 3, Nate, is that right?
It's 3 minutes and 3 topics. I wanted again to draw our attention, colleagues, to the fact that this is a request to our Department of Transportation. There's been another request sent to the State Department, California State Department of Transportation, from Assemblyman Hertzberg and myself. There was a Senate bill passed back in the 1980s that mandated that the MTA put into, it was LACTC and then MTA, put into a special trust fund 15% of every dollar spent on the Red Line to be spent on transit projects for the San Fernando Valley. What a audit from the Inspector General of the MTA has shown is that, in fact, the MTA did not comply with the directions of that law. And there is a great deal of uncertainty and unanswered questions about whether, in fact, the correct amount of dollars have been allocated as they were meant to be. What I want to also point out to all of us is that dollars from the MTA that are potentially due to projects in the San Fernando Valley are dollars potentially due to the entire city of Los Angeles and could free up other scarce resources that are needed for transportation projects within the city of Los Angeles and other locations. So it's something that all of us should care about, and I, for one, eagerly await having our city attorney, the Department of Transportation, and other city staff get to the bottom of this, do a proper accounting, and determine once and for all what dollars are potentially due to a part of our city to bolster up very needed transportation projects. Thank you.
Mr. Savornich?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. As the seconder of the motion, I agree with everything Mrs. Chick has said. One of the things that I think what we need to do, Mrs. Chick, as a friendly amendment is to request the Department of Transportation to report back on a date certain. We should say either 30 or 45 days. Your pleasure to the Transportation Committee. That would be fine. I'd like to move an amendment, 30 days report back to the Transportation Committee in order that those findings could then be reported to the council as a full body.
Holden?
Mr. President, members, I believe this was a measure that was introduced in Sacramento by Senator Robbins, who was concerned about the Burbank-Chandler route and whether or not we were going to accommodate the requests of the synagogues in the area, among other people, to do the subway. As you know, that has already been abandoned. Many of you voted to abandon that project, including some of the Valley representatives. And if the project is not on the drawing board, you can't spend the money. Now, not only this is dealing with MOS 1, 2, and 3. MOS 1 was done before the bill was introduced. MOS 2 is ongoing to Western Avenue, part of my district, Ms. Goldberg district and all, and it went north into Hollywood. MOS 3 now goes into the valley. MOS 3, as it relates to the Mid-City project, has been on the drawing board and on hold for the past 10-plus years. So therefore, that money that would have been spent on MS3, according to this legislation, will not be spent at all because it's been on hold. Of course, MOS 3 going to East LA, that's been canceled. And that's not on hold, but virtually canceled. The money is not going to be spent because Zev's Prop 8 motion that said you can't do Metro Rail anymore. But we're still building into the valley. And you discover that once the audit is done, they would have exceeded the 15%, even though the Burbank Chandler route has been put on hold or virtually canceled. That bill also required that you tunnel down Burbank Chandler, and they have not done that either. So things have changed. I don't know how much it'll hold up in the court, if it should come to be litigated, but get the report, won't amount to much, except for the fact I think the 15% has been complied with.
Item 35 before us, any further discussion? If not, prepare the roll. What's the amendment? 30 days. Oh, 30 days, that's no objections to that. So that we have 35 as amended. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Mr. Holden, you called 12 special?
Yeah, I'd just like to, we're going to extend the taxi franchise. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Soronich? Can you give me the rationale for that, sir? I don't even have a report on it. Nothing.
Mr. Holden, with your permission, if we could have a Department of Transportation staff come forward to the center table, they would be happy to explain the rationale why we need to extend the taxi franchises until the date that the report states, which is the 31st of March, I believe. So if we may, Mr. Holden, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold my time, Mr. President.
The question of Mr. Holden to staff was why we need to extend these taxi cab franchise agreements until the early part of next year. If you gentlemen could walk the council through this, we would appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm Bob Camus with the Department of Transportation.
I'm Tom Drischler, Department of Transportation.
The current 10 operating permit and franchise ordinances governing taxicab operations in the city are slated to expire on August 31st of this year. We had planned to take a report on refranchising into the Transportation Commission to start that process in January or February of 1999. However, in 1998, the City Council established by ordinance a new board of taxicab commissioners, which then took over responsibility for regulation of taxicabs from the Transportation Commission. The new taxicab commissioners were not confirmed by the City Council until toward the end of January 1999. They held their first meeting in February. It was just an initial meeting, and then they continued to meet twice a month, March, April, up to current time. Due to the newness of these new commissioners and their unfamiliarity with taxicab operations, we engaged in a number of briefings of those commissioners and walked them through a number of the issues in refranchising of taxicab operations. That has continued to date, and in fact, we presented our refranchising report to the new taxicab commission a couple of weeks ago at their meeting. That is the reason for the delay, because of the shift of responsibility from one commission to another, the other being new, and as a result of that, we are requesting an extension of the franchise ordinances.
Sloppy work.
Mr. Holden, you have the floor.
Yeah, sloppy work. See, to me, even before it was decided that we're going to have this special taxi commission, that if this year was a cutoff date for for the franchise to expire, you should have started in 1998 issuing RFP. And my question is, why didn't you do that? Why you issue RFP in 1998 if you know, in order to be in compliance with August 31st of 1999 at the time that the franchise is going to expire? It's going to require a lot of discussion on this subject matter. It's very, very complicated. You know how slippery some of these taxi cab operators really are. And you know what the legal implication has already been regarding a few of them. Seemed to me like you should be on top of this, and I thought you would have been. Now, why didn't you issue it last year, the RFP?
Well, sir, as I mentioned, we had planned to go in a timely manner in very early 1999 to the commission until the commission changed.
There was no commission then. I mean, you knew you were going to need it in 1998 in order to RFP to be issued then and to be in compliance with August 31st of 1999, even before you had a commission in place. All I'm saying is that it's just another way that you're going to delay the process. You know more than anyone else in this room, these chambers, how intense those negotiations are going to be, how complicated the RFP is going to be required in order to guarantee compliance from the operators, something that we have never had in the past 10 years, compliance. And we want to create a situation where the Department of Transportation is no longer put in a position to close its eyes to the violations on the part of the taxi operators, where they're not in compliance with ordinance. It just makes a mockery of the whole process, or the taxi cab industry in the city. I think you know what I'm talking about. I hope the commission is going to get themselves in step, but that's all emanating from you. And what they do is what you advise them to do. And if you're not going to, and I don't understand where you're coming from half the time anyways, relates to the taxi industry, but if you say delay now, we in a catch-22, not much we can do about it. But I am disappointed that you didn't put it in an RFP a year ago when you knew this was going to expire this August, long before we even had a new commission in place. That's just an excuse, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Galanter.
I'd like to raise the concern that if we indeed stick to the timetable that's currently proposed, which is always a little bit iffy, not through anybody's particular fault, but things have a tendency to slip here, that we may find ourselves with a whole new operation just in time for the Democratic Convention, which is very important to this city. And it would seem to me that it might make sense, as long as we're extending the franchise date anyway, to extend it until at least the end of August, so that we know that the whatever we're going to do next, the operations that will be in place during the time that we have this very large number of out-of-town visitors, presumably using taxi cabs, will be taxi cab operators who've been here and are familiar with what's going on and know what they're doing. And I would like to offer an amendment to the proposal that we extend the existing franchise to the end of August, August 31st, 2000, rather than, if I got my years right here?
Yes, you do.
So that instead of, it would be an extra 5 months from the proposal that's before us today, for the purpose of ensuring some continuity through the time that we have all those visitors here.
Ms. Goldberg?
Well, actually, without even discussing it, I had the same issue in my mind, which is the taxi cab issue for the convention. Did you want to comment on the how you see the problem being dealt with?
The schedule that we have laid out calls for the new taxi cab operations to go into effect on April 1st.
April 1st.
Yes, and that is if there are no delays in the process. It's
I
a fairly tight process. The schedule gives us a 1-month cushion to account for extra public discussion along the approval process.
Okay. Okay. And so your motion was to
extend instead of to March 31st to August 31st.
to set it to August 31st. Would you comment on that? You think that would help or not help?
That would, I think, would guarantee the lack of any problems relative to the DNC.
So then I'll support that amendment, because that was my question. I didn't have a solution in mind. I'm glad my colleague did, but you know, all of us are very worried about making sure that that happens without a hitch, and I think that that switchover could be a real problem. And even though I'm anxious to get some solution to all of the shuffling around and all of the angst that there is related to this issue, I'm also concerned that we have a very well-oiled machine when it comes to that convention and not have people just taking over a contract. So I'll support my colleague's amendment.
Mr. Savornich?
Did I just hear staff respond, thank you, Mr. President, members of council, did I just hear staff respond that they felt that the 6-month extension they needed, or that they would support?
Staff commented that in order to take the safest possible course, if there were concern about the convention.
Back a week ago, and this is where I really get angry with Department of Transportation staff. A week ago, when the interim chair had the meeting and we asked whether or not you wanted to have this continued a year, it was no, we could meet the February time schedule. Yesterday in Transportation Committee, you both said that you did not want this continued a year, that you said that you could meet the timetable by March 31st. A council member makes a motion on the floor and you guys roll over dead. I can't understand it. The committee yesterday went and said March 31st because you both sat right in front of me with your supporting staff behind you and said that you could make the March 31st deadline. Now, a council member says in order to give you guys some more latitude to continue it until August 31st, and you say that's no problem because it gives us a little bit more of a buffer. I can't understand it. And if this is the type of the relationship that the Department of Transportation staff is going to have with the committee chair and the committee, you've just set off on the wrong foot. And this isn't going to start today. I'm telling you right now. I don't have a problem supporting the August 31st date. In fact, I brought that up in committee yesterday. And the both of you stood right in front of me and said, no, it wasn't necessary. And I think this is absolute baloney. Now, I'm going to ask you straight out. Can you complete this process by March 31st, or do you need the other 6 months? Yes or no?
We believe we can complete it. However, I have to say that we don't have control at a later date of the amount of time that your committee...
Did you say that in committee yesterday? No, you didn't.
I believe I did, sir.
Mr. Burnson, you were there. Did you hear it? You know, this is the type of shenanigans that does not do the credibility of the Department of Transportation any good. And I wish the general manager was here so she could see it. Well, she could tune in at 7:30 tonight, and I'm sure she'll be very pleased to what she hears. But I frankly am not happy with the Department of Transportation staff telling us 3 different things in 3 days. And I'm not going to tolerate it. Councilwoman Galanter, I will support your motion because, frankly, to tell you the truth, is this is the type of competency that we're going to count on to have this RFP done. We will need the other 6 months.
Sound like the new chairman of the committee.
Hold and train.
Okay. Mr. Padilla.
Wow. I also rise in support of the proposed amendment, and as my colleague brought to light last week in my first and last meeting as Transportation Committee Chair, we brought up these same concerns. And I want to emphasize 2 words that you used in front of me, which is this is a tight timeline, meaning if at any point in the process it needs to be revisited either in committee or in the full council, or you miss a deadline as you work with other consultants within the staff or anything like that, we will miss the 6-month deadline. And so I support a year extension or the August 31st deadline for next year to give you the cushion that you're going to need down the road.
Mr. Burnson.
Yeah, I have to apologize because I was a little late at a LAFCO meeting, but I have to I'm a little concerned also, maybe not as vociferously as my colleague, Mr. Svornich, but he's younger than me. Almost anybody is. But, yes. I think that what I heard and what I understand, this thing should have gone a long time ago. And why would we want to delay now something that we need to take an action on? As I understand it, this would extend it to April, to what? August 31st. And we would have the new RFP completed, ready to go by April. Was that correct? By March, to be adopted by April. I'm trying to remember the exact times. Why would we want to change at this stage of the game? We have to extend, otherwise you're going to wind up, these contracts expire the end of this month. I mean, the end of August is all the contracts, all the franchises expire. So what I would suggest is, members of the council, that we not continue this, extend this to August, that we, when did you want to extend it to? August what? You're putting us right under the gun, and we're dark the last 2 weeks. So really, what you're doing, there's not going to be any council sessions. Oh, excuse me, that's next year, that's right. I'm sorry. Hello. It's early. I still feel that we should not put it off. I think we ought to act on what the committee action was yesterday, and that should give us enough time to get the thing done and make sure that our franchises don't expire.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, I agree with Mr. Bernstein. It's too soon to give the extension in advance. If you run into a roadblock, you come back to the council, you says we don't have enough time to be in compliance by March of 31st of the year 2000, then that's different. But if we give you the time right now, then you're looking at December of the year 2000, because you're going to have other kinds of problems. Not only that, the disgruntled taxi cab owners who are going to know in advance that they're not going to be given the contract, they could stall at the convention time. They could not perform during the convention. They can do the kind of walkout, slow down, sleep in. I think it's just really creating a real problem. I think we should know well in advance who's going to receive the franchise and who's not, and have it in operation. It gives you enough, from March, you get April, May, June, July. That's enough time to get those guys to debug the problems that have been incorporated in the new franchise. I just think that it's a big mistake. I cannot vote for it. If you have problems January, February of next year, where you're going to have to delay, I would say delay beyond August of next year, sometime November, October, where the disgruntled taxi operators will not punish us during the convention time. That's where I would go. But I won't do that today. I want to hold your feet to the fire, as Mr. Svornich has already said. Mr. Svornich is going to learn, he learned already, that this is a wishy-washy department, no matter who's sitting before you representing them. It's unfortunate. You should try and, I know you'll eventually, in the next 2 years under Mr. Svornich's leadership, establish some credibility with the council, because that's what we really need in order to have this operation work very much better than it is. I would say I'm not going to vote for the extension. I prefer to wait until early next year and have you come back to us and say, what we have in place is not working, we need more time. Then I would go beyond August 31st of next year, sometime October, November, to make sure we have a smooth operation during the convention, because some of those guys will stay at home and be mad and not perform, because they'll know in advance who's going to get that franchise, who's not going to get it. So I think you ought to think about what you said to Mr. Svornich yesterday in the committee and reconsider the request that's being made by Ms. Galanter, but that should come from you. How would you respond to that?
I'd like to be just a little more positive than I was a few minutes ago and say that certainly we believe that we can have this thing accomplished within the time schedule with the extension as proposed in front of you today without the amendment.
I know with the extension, but you're going to have, the decision will be made already who's going to receive the franchise. Without the amendment?
Without the amendment.
Ms. Galanter?
Well, I did want to, in fairness to the staff, point out that when I proposed this, they didn't say we need this. What they said is that they thought it would not be a problem and that it might help if there are additional delays. They did not say they needed it. So just, I mean, take it easy on the poor guy. He was very careful about how he responded to Ms. Goldberg's question. The reason that I'm proposing it is that I appreciate that the committee has been working on this for a long time, and the new commissioners have been struggling very hard to learn everything they need to know. But as I understand it, the proposed reorganization is not just that we're going to award franchises to somebody different. It's a really complicated problem about where certain people will be allowed to go and other people won't be allowed to go. And it's going to take whoever is operating under this, whether it's the existing franchisees or new ones or some of both, it's going to take a while to learn that system. And what I want to avoid is any snafus that will occur at a particularly bad time, as defined by a time when we will have thousands upon thousands of out-of-towners who will have no way of knowing whether the taxi driver is doing the right thing or the wrong thing, because they won't know their way around the city. They won't know if they're being taken on the most direct route. They won't know if there's some regulation that says you can't go on the most direct route. So my interest here is really in consumer protection, and they're not our residents. They're people who will be out-of-town visitors. But one of the reasons we want them here, we want them to feel good about coming here, is they're going to come here and spend a lot of money, and we need the revenue. And we don't need it going just to some taxi driver who, for one reason or another, is either caught up in a morass of regulations that are new and different, or is mad for some reason or other. And so it seemed to me that the easiest way to solve that problem is in no way to slow down the process of working on whatever you have to do to adopt the new plan and make the awards, but at least to allow the possibility that we're going to have, or in fact to ensure that we'll have continuity through the time that all those visitors are in town. If the council decides not to do that, I think we'll be back here sometime between now and August of 2000 doing it. And it would be probably cleaner and simpler to do it now. But, that's a decision that takes 8 votes.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to understand the sequence of events here. If we adopt Ms. Galanter's motion, and the permits are extended through August 31 of 2000, when will the commission be recommending new permits for the period beginning September 1st? Before the 31st, presumably, right?
Oh, yes, well before.
Roughly when?
The current schedule calls for the new taxi cab commission to complete its work either in August or very early September of this year, right now, and make a recommendation to council.
Here's the crux of my question. There's been a lot of discussion about the morale of the taxi cab drivers in the course of this process. If we adopt Ms. Galanter's motion and we extend franchises through the 31st of August, but a couple months earlier have decided on a whole potentially new set of franchisees, we're going to have cab drivers around convention time, for example, who may well be quite disgruntled because they're about to lose their franchises and they're in the last legs of the existing permits with it preordained that they're done after the 31st. Is that a possibility here? I mean, the spirit of Ms. Galanter's motion is one which I support, and that is to assure as much continuity and as smooth a taxi cab service in the city as possible during August 2000. That I'm agreeing with. I'm wondering whether the approach inadvertently causes a problem because the cab drivers during that period may well be knowing that they're about to conclude their service for the indefinite future.
While nobody can guarantee at this point in time just who may be awarded replacement taxi cab franchises, I think the expectation would be that many of the current companies would continue in the system with new franchises.
Right.
However, there would still be some risk.
Because there may be some who are displaced. Some or all may be displaced. And yeah, I think, as I say, the motivation of Ms. Galanter's substitute motion is exactly right, but I'm not sure it achieves the result that we want Well, let me ask a question. How long has it taken when we've changed franchisees or permittees in the past before we have been feeling reasonably certain that things are running smoothly under a new regime?
It's
2 or 3 months?
Difficult to answer that because the last time we did this was in 1975,
Wow.
where there was a whole-scale change of franchises.
No, I did high school. Well, you know, with that in mind, as I'm listening here, I'm wondering if it isn't most sensible for us to adopt the course that Mr. Holden and Mr. Burnson are recommending, which is to move as fast as possible, see how things are going, anticipate what disruptions might occur under a new regime, and preserve our options regarding extensions beyond August. We can always, at any point between now and March, for example, choose to intervene with your advice and say things are not going well, and let's adopt an extension. So I think at this point I'm not prepared to accept the substitute motion. I'd like to preserve that option, get you moving as rapidly as possible, and in particular, get you, once we have a feeling for who the new franchisees might be, we'll have a better feeling for whether continuances of existing contracts really matter or not.
How about if I withdraw the amendment and ask for a report back in 3 months?
Good. I'll second that.
Okay, we have item 12 before us. Prepare the roll. As amended, yes. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Now, does that include the ordinance? The ordinance is included. Okay, we forthwith on that, and now we have ordinances 1, 2, 10, and 11. Prepare the roll on those. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Those are approved. The next item,
The next item is a closed session items.
okay, we're going to go into executive session. In the meantime, let's clear the desk off. All those not involved with the executive session, please leave the council chamber. Yeah, it won't take long, I know.
I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm asking you, which do you want to take first? Do you want to take the bank first, or do you?
Now, let's take the traffic.
That is the last verse, Mr. President.
Okay,
There is-
we go back in open session. We have a couple settlements.
Item number 40A, request for the city attorney to expend $140,000 in settlement of case.
All right, prepare the roll on that. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
You know, we're just going to be through in a minute. The next item,
Item number 40B, request for the city attorney to be authorized to expend $240,000 in settlement of case.
prepare the roll on that one. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on both of those on a motion by Mr. Fuhr. Next item.
Request to be excused from council. Councilmember Savornich requests to be excused on Friday, the 30th, all day. This requires a motion.
You going to get some milk? It's time to eat in San Pedro. Prepare the unanimous vote on the motion by, you did. Next item.
Mr. President, the desk is clear.
The desk is clear. Do we have anything else before us? Any adjourning motion? Would everyone please stand? Everyone please stand. Mr. Burnson?
Yes, members of the council, I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Dolores DuPont Corcus. She passed away on June 26. She was a member of the Granada Hills Women's Club for 14 years, was actively involved as a volunteer at the Granada Theater, and a resident of Granada Hills since 1954, and was an accountant for 45 years. She's survived by a sister from Massachusetts. I can't believe that this is also Dolores. They must be a mistake here. But she has a sister from Massachusetts who is surviving.
Mr. Fuhr?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with great sorrow that I ask that we adjourn in memory of Gabriella Elizabeth Axelrod. She was 13 years old when she was on a biking trip with her family in the Grand Tetons. She was hit by a van when a driver was distracted and was looking at his map rather than the road, and she perished. She's survived by her parents, David Axelrad and Lisa Bercovici, and her brothers, Joseph and Jacob, and her grandparents. She was a student at Harvard Westlake Middle School, and I understand that she was a very sensitive, graceful young woman with great compassion, described by her family as having insight well beyond her years. She was an accomplished athlete and a beautiful dancer. The family requests that, for those who may be listening, that contributions be made in lieu of flowers to a scholarship fund in memory of Gabriella, established at Harvard Westlake.
Call the roll.
Aye.
The council is adjourned.